Good day and welcome back to another World of Warcraft video. In this video we're going to talk about how you can freshen up your World of Warcraft experience with just a couple changes. Now this isn't a tier list or anything, and honestly speaking, a lot of these are going to be things you should already know, but sometimes it's nice to hear it come from a different source. So one of the big changes right off the bat that you can do is a fresh server. Sometimes moving to an RP, a PvP server, can freshen up your experience. Me personally, I felt WoW was stale a couple years ago, and I moved to an RP server. I moved to Argent Dawn on EU, and it honestly was the best change I had made in a very long time. RP servers is a roleplay server for those who don't know, and basically you can essentially create a D&D like profile for your character. All it simply requires is installing one type of add-on, and basically it's an incredibly simple kind of process. And with this you can create your profile, you can set appearance-like structures for yourself, details, personality traits, you can check other people's profiles, follow up on them, link them to yours, set them as friends, brothers, cousins, so that everyone else who's using the add-on also knows. You store individual profiles for each character, and basically you can just have a really, really good time. You can indicate if you're out of character, in character, and if you want to take it really seriously, you can get down to creating your own quests, campaigns, and items. Now, of course, this is just one way to improve your gameplay, but PvP servers are also something that are very, very fun for players. Nowadays, PvP servers don't have the same weight that they used to, but the equivalent is basically switching on a bit of war mode and basically hashing it out. PvP servers are a bit more serious than that. They like to take things a bit direct, but honestly speaking, just try something different. Nowadays, switching servers, not the hardest thing to do. Heirloom and many items switch over server to server, and you don't lose as much. So it's always a good time to try it out, especially if you're on a low pop server. Moving to something that's medium pop or high pop can dramatically improve your gaming experience, especially in World of Warcraft. So I highly suggest that you do this. It's going to help you out a lot. And honestly speaking, I made the change, and it was really, really awesome to move to an RP server. To see people out in the world doing RP events was something incredible that I can never really kind of explain. Next is going to be switching to PvP or PvE. So this is simple. If you're a player who's playing a ton of PvE, try some PvP. If you're a player playing tons of PvP, try some PvE. It sounds simple, but people like to stay in their lanes in World of Warcraft. They don't like to change things up. This is a little bit foolish. Yes, there's a whole notion of jack of all trades, master of none, but honestly speaking, if you're a fully conquest player or someone who's cleared heroic rating and has 2,500 mythic plus rating and is basically trying to rando pug their way through mythic, it's probably time that you try out something different, even if it is to only realize that you don't like it. It doesn't always have to be an experience you enjoy that can freshen up your experience. Sometimes trying things that you maybe struggle with, aren't enjoying as much, or that you don't have the hang on yet, can push you to be a better player, or to try out different things with your class. Maybe you have to try out new builds, new specs, switch from tank to DPS, try out healer. Maybe you need to use spells you've never used before. You look up guides you've never done before. It can be an incredibly fun and impactful experience. And I think, honestly speaking, you should enjoy your time and definitely try it out. There's no harm that comes from it. What you're going to do is discover that either you don't like the switch up, or that you maybe discovered a little bit of a desire to go from being that mythic raider to that conquest PvPer. And vice versa. It works both ways, and honestly speaking, it can even just be fun on a super casual level to break up the monotony of the gameplay you're doing. The next tip is very simple, but basically try a new specialization. It's not that difficult to think, but sometimes people get so stuck in their ways that they don't even realize that you can change your playstyle or change your experience on your very character. Maybe you're someone that doesn't want to try new classes. Maybe you're someone that doesn't want to try new servers. Your character will have at least 1 or 2 specs, most of which are in different complete roles to the spec you've been experiencing. Very few classes only have 1 role, most of them being warlocks and mages, but generally speaking, even their playstyles are drastically different between their different specs. For example, being an Affliction Warlock compared to a Demonology is a vastly different gameplay experience. And if you're looking to spice things up without risking throwing the boat out too much, maybe you just want to change spec, talents, and try something a bit new with your build to freshen up your experience. This won't cure a heavy amount of indecision with the game, but this will help you to experience things a little bit different and to help you possibly optimize yourself or reach a different level of progress. Maybe the new spec isn't enough for you. Well, that's also not a problem. You have time to switch to a completely new character, race, or class. Honestly speaking, this sounds simple, but it is the easiest way to combat some level of tedium and moniker with the game, especially as we near the last month or 2 before the next season. It's always a great time if you've made good progress on a lot of your achievements or a lot of your goals to consider raising an alt and creating a new experience for yourself. Maybe you want to prove that you can be a better druid than Malfurion ever was. Maybe you want to prove that you can be a better mage than Khadgar. Maybe you want to become the Grommash that didn't start the Iron Horde War. Or maybe you want to restart the Iron Horde War. All of these things are fantastic, and it's a great way to really experience something different. And honestly, it's the simplest way. Playing a new class, a new race, something you have never played before, changing faction, switching sides, yes. Horde forever, yes. Alliance must rule. But no one will know about your sneaky little alt on the other faction. So give it a try. Honestly speaking, it's the easiest way to spice up your gameplay and have a better time, and a lot of players simply don't do it because they have some weird notion of playing the same character forever. You don't have to. Hell, you can be that guy that makes 18,000 warriors. It's all up to you. And my final tip, very simple tip, guilds, or socializing in general. A lot of us have busy lives. A lot of us don't like to be bothered during our gaming experience. We like to be able to, experience the game at our own pace without the pressure of letting other people down. Joining a guild doesn't mean you have to become their Mythic Plus Raider. It doesn't mean you have to become their lead captain. You don't have to do anything you don't want to do. Look for social guilds, RP guilds, PvP guilds. Hell, just look for people that play the same class as you. A warrior-only guild. It doesn't matter. But try and find one that's active. Sometimes this can pressurize people, and I completely understand this. This isn't to say that you have to join a guild or socialize to create the perfect WoW experience or to augment it. Some people don't like the anxiety and drama that guilds hold. Some people don't like the forced need for pressure, socializing, or doing events. That's okay. Please don't feel the need to do this. It's just a suggestion. I understand everyone has their own levels of social security, so don't panic too much. And just a final word from me. Obviously, this list is mainly super simple, but I hope that it sparks some ideas in you that you kind of get to enjoy and experience when playing World of Warcraft. It's so easy nowadays to get trapped into this notion of playing things the same as we've always done and tying ourselves to the big progress machine or making sure that we hit every single goal. Especially if you're someone who's only playing a couple hours a week, but you want to continue playing World of Warcraft, please change things up. And honestly, if World of Warcraft is too much for you, take a break. This expansion's a lot more alt and time friendly than other ones, but it can still feel very, very suffocating if you constantly feel the need to log on. So change things up. Take a break. It's not the end of the world. Hogwarts Legacy is there. It will be back when you come back. And if you're near the end of the first season, you've done everything, take a break till the next. You'll save on your sub, and we'll see you next time.